Hey everybody, how we doing today? So welcome to shop update number 3. After setting this basic thing up here, I've actually made some changes since then. Step 2 was building this bench grinder stand and got that all completed. That incorporated using all my new tools and all the kits and caboodles, just getting some good practice with that, but now that's done. And so today I'm going to be working on fine-tuning some of this equipment here. One of the things I want to do is to work on this saw. Now, when I got this saw, my fear factor was probably about a 9.5. It had been in storage pretty much for a while, and it looked its age. It's kind of a really old table saw, baseline version. So it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles to start with, but it was really sketchy looking, sketchy sounding, and the way it's set up is like pretty dangerous. But after working on it for a while, cleaning it up, putting a new blade on, grinding down the counter till the top is smooth and silky there, and just basically learning how to use it, I've become a lot more comfortable with it, where I use it almost every day I'm out here. My stress factor is down to about a 4 now. However, there are some safety things that would actually even decrease that even more and are kind of important. Newer saws actually come with them standard. Now this saw, I saw pictures of it, did used to come with the acrylic box kind of protector guard. So it's basically an enclosed box that sat here. Then as you ran wood underneath it, it would lift up. It would be cutting, and then it would fall back down. So you really couldn't get your hand in there. Although that's probably the more foolproof way of protecting yourself. A lot of people take them off because they tend to make it more complicated to make cuts. It's harder to make accurate cuts because you can't really see very well, and so forth. So a lot of people end up just taking them off. However, beyond that, there's other safety items that people will always have on their newer saws, and one's a Rivian knife, and then the second one is a splitter. Both of those have to do with preventing kickback. So what that is, as you are cutting your board, okay, and then you've got it on your guard here, you're running it through. As you get farther up, the force of the blade through the half of it is pushing down, so you don't really have to worry about much. But as you get farther in the back, then you have the blade starting to kick up. And then where that comes into a problem is when you were going straight, but then something happens where you start twisting, or the board starts twisting. Then it binds up with the saw, it kicks up, catches those teeth, and then it gets thrown back at you, and then a lot of injuries caused that way. Or you might be having your hand beyond the blade, and that kickback happens, and then it pulls your hand back into the blade. So a lot of different issues with that. Now that Rivian knife and the splitter, what they do is they actually are a guard that stands straight up behind the blade. The Rivian knife actually revolves up and down with the blade. The splitter is just stationary, but all they do is they're a splitter. They prevent the board that you're cutting from twisting. It keeps it straight all the way past the blade, so you don't have to worry about that binding action that's going to kick it back. So those are the two things. Now on this one, because it's so compact, it can't do the Rivian knife because it would have to be back here, and it loops back over the blade. And plus it has to mount to the actual pedestal that's the blade spins on, so it keeps that same height value. But the splitter, which is just stationary, I think I can make using this, which I just noticed, which I assume was the mount for that plastic guard. So what I think I'm going to do is mount an L bracket off of that here, and it'll just basically sit there, and then as the boards comes through, gets past the blade, this little block here will keep it coming straight out and not let it jump back and get crooked and kick out again. So that's what I'm gonna be working on today. So what this thing looks like is, like, this was removable this wing nut, so that's probably to make it quick release to take that cover off when you didn't want to use it. So that'll make it nice. It's got that same basic line up there. I just have to get it squared away. So when I put something like this on there, that will be perfect. Well, I just need to have something to square it off, and I think this will work. Now, it does have like a little lump here, so I need to take that off to grind it, but it looks like it's slotted so that it's adjustable. So let me get a wrench and loosen this up. Yeah, see, that's loosened up, so it's a slider, so it's adjustable. So I can just get it to the alignment that I need when this is bolted on there, and that'll go this direction. I just need to get something the right thickness, so it needs to be pretty much the same thickness as the blade. So you want it just lined up with this inside edge to keep this board straight and not binding up. And then this little bracket here, I just need to grind that smooth. Yeah, I think that'll work out pretty easy. Yeah, so here's that bracket. Just sits like that. So let me clean this up because I want it to be, plus it has this little, I guess those are pins where that bracket used to lock onto that plastic piece. So let me grind that flat, just kind of grind this up, clean this up so it's a lot smoother, and then we'll go from there. As you can see, that just took like 10 seconds there, and now we're back to brand new metal, no more rust and corrosion on there. But that's exactly why I wanted this bench grinder, is for this kind of stuff, because everything gets rusty and old, especially when you're buying used old stuff. So let me get the rest of this cleaned up. All right, cleaned up nicely there. So now I could just see how much adjustment I need to get this thing straight in line with the blade. Well, this just got actually even easier. This plate bolts on underneath there, and I was thinking about just finding a metal piece to line up with the blade, but I can just get an L bracket, and there you go. That's all I would need to do. And then just have the 2 bolt holes on either side, because it's opposite, I'm flip-flopping it, and then just get that lined up there. And that's basically what I'm wanting to do, but probably a little bit taller, or I could do short ones for short stuff, but it doesn't have to be as tall as the object, because the board should always stay close to the table itself, so even just a little bit will guide it and keep it in alignment and making sure it doesn't twist. So that might be good. I can't use this because it is too thick. I did a test cut just to see what thickness I need, and it's too thick. But I could find 90-degree brackets easily at Home Depot, and they'll be thinner, and once I've got them bolted in there, they'll bend. They'll be flexible enough because it won't be such thick metal. Nice. That's going to make things really easy. And with the blade all the way up, I don't have a lot of room to play with, so it can't go very deep onto the table. So that's basically the concept there. They'll be just sitting right about there. Yeah, so it can only overhang the bench about 1 inch. I can make longer ones for when I'm doing shorter cuts, but I doubt if I can make them. It's not gonna be that difficult, but I doubt I'll take the time to be unbolting this for each time I want to cut something. But still, that makes things a lot easier. Okay, I went to Home Depot. I got this L bracket. It's for house framing. Then I measured it, cut off this section. So now I went ahead and magnetized a ruler straight edge with my blade so it comes straight back, and then this sits underneath there, and then butts up against the ruler and is flat underneath here. So that's good there. This PICS I took off and I ground it down, got all the rust off, and it was actually backwards. There's a thick flat on this side and then a thick flat on this side now, but before it was reverse. So I flip-flopped them. I had to drill out the hole because there's a pin over here that's oversized. So I flipped it around, drilled this side out so it's oversized and can fit that little nut that sticks out, and then tighten the bolt back. So now this pivots, which is good, so that fixes that angle. And now all I have to do is, I've got the bottom part cut so it's correct. It's flush against the edge there. So now I just need to find out the 0 marks and drill some holes there for the bolts to run there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clearance it so notched out, this will go that far in. So another 1/2 inch, it'll go up underneath. This will actually be notched out. This part will be gone. So this part will overhang. So let me do that real quick. So I just need to notch out this section here using the bandsaw. Okay, so that's the basic concept there. Let's see, that's the bottom plate underneath there. It sits pretty much in alignment, but I can fine tune it with these bolts. I can twist it left to right and then in and out, and so I think we're good. So now I just need to mark and drill those 2 holes there. And I can oversize those to give me a little bit more adjustment as well, but try to keep it as close as possible because this unit is threaded, so the bolts go on through the bottom and then thread into this block. Alright, there you go. Bracket is done. So it should just slide right in there. Holes should line up like that. Let me bolt it up real quick. Alright, there we go. And we are right perfectly up against that rail, so that's good. It looks about right. And this is still fully adjustable. If I have to adjust the angle left or right, loosen this up, and then this pivots. Alright, I don't know if that's lined up with the lens, but you can see it's straight on, one continuous. I can't see any variances top to bottom, left to right between the blade and that splitter, so I think we are golden. Nice. See how that works there. Well, here's a good test because my jig is pretty much zero lined with the blade. Look at that. We are smooth. I think we are golden. Bring it up. So it's that close. That's why I couldn't go much farther. It's just if I'm running all the way to the top. All right, so here's the only real way to do is run a test, but this is a good example of what we are preventing. So as we've got it rubbed along the edge, that keeps us nice and flush, but what happens is the blade is rotating this direction towards us, top towards us. So the first half of it, the blade is cutting downwards, so it's keeping this board pushing down. But as we get past that point, then that blade is pointing up and back towards us. So if this board catches on one of those tines there, it's going to whip it back at us. And how that happens is, as this comes along and we don't follow the side here, and then this twists, it catches up, kicks up, and then it'll throw back at us. So what this does back there is we're running it along, it makes sure that it can't turn. So since it's flush, parallel flush and flush, it can't twist, and then we can just keep pushing it along and not have to worry about it jumping up and biting us. So that is the reason for that. Oh yeah, I can tell already it's good. Oop, right there, up in there. Oh, I'm pushing on the blade. All right. There, it has to be off the blade. There it goes. So I've got the right side lined up exactly with the right. All right, let's test it out. That's how we do it. All right, we're gonna try it on a longer piece of wood here. And that works perfect. So you can see how it keeps that pushed against the side there. There's a little bit of play, but not enough that it's ever going to jump up and get caught and pinched and then sent back at me. So that's it. I say perfect. Nice. Mission accomplished. Project done. For the rest of the shop, I ended up taking all the coolers that I had up on top of this rack and then just moving over there to create kind of a rain barrier. So when it does rain, we got a big storm came through the night before last, and it kept that stuff dry by doing that. And it allowed me to work on this rack. I had it long ways, so I ended up rotating it and shifting it over. So I had room to put the bandsaw in there, and then the table saw I could turn sideways long ways if I want to use it, but I just rolled it in here for now. Since I've got those wheels on there, I can just roll it straight out and then use it however long I want to. Bench grinder I ended up putting right over here, quick and easy. And then I am going to make this kind of my tools for this equipment, plus a rack for wood, and then a rack for spare metal. And that way I have my scraps there together, and then I'll slowly picking through and getting rid of some of this stuff that I won't be needing on here. but otherwise not too bad. Alrighty, so that's the end of shop update number 3. Another project down. I'm going to sign off and say the table saw is pretty much good to go as is. Bench grinder is good as is. Probably the next up, because I've got parts coming, that blade sucks. Wherever that weld joint is, it just goes around, so it's causing problems with the stuttering. So hopefully those new blades will be good. And then I've got a 4x8 aluminum plate that I'll cut down to replace this, make it a little bit bigger. That'll, because this is really flimsy, but it did its job. A couple other things down the road would be is to make a better, longer brackets for both of these. A stopper so this doesn't twist. You can just run a stop bolt when you need it, so it keeps it parallel if you're just running an off-size one. I'll try to find a brake for over here that basically just stops the material from going a certain distance. Just clamps on this bar right here, and then that way you can do repeatable cuts by just butting against there. Get rid of this useless little handle there, and then that should be pretty much it. I'm just kind of nitpicking. Once I replace the blade and put that little stand on there, I mean, this thing's good to go. Very happy with it. Use that every day as well. Yeah, then after that, I got a home for a drill press here over there, so I've got my eye out for that. And then I am going to convert this into a rolling stand for my compressor. So that's all rusty and busted up, so I'm going to shrink it and then mount that on there permanently, and I could wheel that around. So there we go. But otherwise, that is shop update number 3. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next video. Bye.